We're at Snetterton in Norfolk as the British Touring Car Championship starts its summer series. We'll go straight up to the commentary box to join Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
We're on the formation lap for round 16 of the 2008 HiQ MSA British Touring Car Championship. This is how they line up then. The Seats are on the front row. It's Jason Plato's first pole position in quite a while. He had none last year, but he's certainly dominated qualifying yesterday with his teammate Darren Turner. Then on the second row, we've got Gordon Shedden in the Team Halfords car, and series leader Fabrizio Giovanardi, despite carrying maximum ballast. That was a great effort by the Italian. Behind them, we've got Tom Chilton and Tom Onslow Cole. Both love the Snetterton circuit. Tom Onslow Cole took his first win here last year. And then behind them, we've got the first of the BMWs, Colin Turkington with Stephen Kane, his best qualifying performance of the season so far. Adam Jones, who leads the independence points, he lines up in 9th place. He's got Stephen Jelly alongside in the second of the Team RAC cars. But Matt Neal, double champions, way down in 11th place with Mike Jordan alongside him. Matt Jackson also further down than might be expected. He's third in the points, but 13th on the grid. Andrew Jordan is next to him on the grid. And then we've got Rob Collard and John George together on the 8th row of the grid. 9th row, we've got Harry Volkard and Jason Hughes in the trusty MG. Behind them, we've got Michael Doyle, who scored his first points at Croft last time out. Martin Bell, who's lost 8 kilos apparently in the gap between the two events. And Erkut and Alan Taylor complete the grid, but I gather there's a problem, is there, for Alan Taylor?
Yeah, Alan Taylor apparently has lost a wheel on the outlap. Alan, of course, in a BTCC spec car, so he just has the single wheel nut on the car. There you can see the left rear has come off. The team's changed the wheels on the grid, so the fronts go on the rear, the rears go on the front after the outlap to get some heat in the rears, but clearly that hasn't gone on properly.
Problems then for Alan Taylor. He's not going to make the start of this first race of the day here at Snetterton. He wanders off into the field somewhere, and he's going to have to just watch this first race. Here we go then, all the cars coming into position. It's a fine sight on the Snetterton grid here in Norfolk. We're about 20 miles south of Norwich. A little bit of cloud around, but dry conditions, just about perfect to go racing.
Very narrow grid. Let's hope they all get through cleanly with the fast-starting BMWs trying to make up places.
It's the two Seats on the front row of the grid. It's the Team Halfords car of Gordon Shedden is going to try and take the battle to them as we're ready for the lights. Here we are, red lights are on, away we go, and it's Plato and Turner both off the grid. Well, but Giovanardi takes a terrible start. Fabrizio Giovanardi loses 2, 3, maybe 4 places on the run up to the first corner. It's Plato leading, it's Turner in second place, Shedden in third, Chilton in fourth, Turkington in fifth. It looks like a clean start, but Giovanardi's the big loser.
Giovanardi did a fantastic job in qualifying to put the heaviest car out there on fourth on the grid, but wasted it all with a bad start, too much wheel spin.
He's ahead of his teammate Matt Neal, who's in the middle of a gaggle of BMWs, including Matt Jackson. But it's the diesel-powered Seats, which was so strong in qualifying, dominant in testing a few weeks ago as well. And it's Plato ahead of teammate Darren Turner, Gordon Shedden in third place, ahead of his teammate Tom Chilton. A bit of locking going up behind. Turkington ahead of Tom Onslow Cole. Then Stephen Kane is in there. Everybody bouncing their way over the curbs, and still looks as though everybody's made it round safely so far.
Yeah, so far this weekend it's all been fairly steady, hasn't it? The predictable pace of the Seat Leon to turbo diesels, over half a second quicker than anybody else in practice, but I don't expect it to stay that way over the rest of the weekend as they get weight added after this first race.
Well, they need a good result this weekend. A little bit of something going flying in the air there. Seats had a miserable time last time at Croft, only scoring 5 points out of the 3 races. So Plato's dropped to 4th in the championship, and he desperately needs some results. Across the line there, Plato, Turner, Chilton and Shedden together. It's actually Chilton ahead of Shedden that way round, so my mistake there. Tom Chilton had got ahead of his teammate off the start. Good start that for Chilton then. Shedden in 4th, Turkington in 5th. Little battle going on here though as Tom Onslow Cole tries to get past Turkington. That is for 5th place. Ooh, on the grass, Onslow Cole, and the two of them still rubbing bumpers as they head down the Rabbit Straight.
Well, that sort of racing only happens in touring cars, doesn't it? Onslow Cole was clearly on the outside, and Turkington just kept the car out there, so he put the wheels on the dirt and lost the traction.
Well, good stuff. The Seats are in control here. Chilton and Shedden, but then it's this battle. Turkington versus Onslow Cole, and Stephen Kane is a part of that as well. Colin Turkington was on pole position here last year, got it disqualified from the race win for being underweight. So we know that car can go extremely well here at Snetterton, but now he's got his work cut out to keep Onslow Cole. We've got the safety car out. Safety car on track. Now, I'm not quite sure why that is. There may be some debris out there. Oh, it's off as Michael Doyle is off the
Another
track.
wheel problem. Look at his right front wheel there. Looks like the steering arm's broken or the top ball joint or something, but he's off. He must be in a dangerous place, otherwise I don't think they'd have scrambled the safety car this early. Well, that's on the exit of... Oh, John George involved as well. That's on the exit of Riches between the first and second corner, Riches and Sear. Must have been corner. One of
Andrew
Eurotech.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Andrew Jordan involved in that as well.
And Martin Bell.
Right, okay, so lots of cars. This is why we've got the same. This is on board Jordan. So let's just see. Oh, he got caught out behind. He was sort of trying to brake too late, off in the field.
Corn on the cob for dinner.
Absolutely right. But other cars got involved in that as well. That's a great shame.
Yeah, I think they were probably separate incidents. It looked like Jordan was actually dived off the track to avoid hitting the car in front.
It did.
And I think the other incident was a separate one behind it.
But now the safety car lights are out. We've got the one marshal left up at that inner marshal's post at Sear corner. So he's still got a stationary yellow up there, but we are going to see the race restart when they come back past us next time. Good news for the two Seats of Plato and Turner, who are looking to continue their run up front. 6 laps have been completed. We're on lap 7. There'll be some laps added to the race distance now because of the safety car being out there. You're on board with Darren Turner, sitting in second place. Listen to the quiet diesel. Hardly hear it, can you? I know he's not accelerating hard, but you watch as he comes out of this Russell corner. We'll just go quiet for a second and the diesel will do its stuff. It's so peaceful.
It's eerie, isn't it? I mean, the good thing these guys know is they know they've got the straight line speed, so they can back the other cars up and just accelerate away from them. And especially as the two quickest parts of the course, the first two straights, are in the first half of the lap.
Again, you can see how did they pull away from Tom Chilton so easily there on the sheer power and acceleration of that diesel turbo. Chilton closes up a little bit through the corners, but Plato, good restart. Chilton trying to hold on. Then we've still got that battle between Turkington and the Team RAC BMW, and Onfro Cole and the VXR Racing Vectra. Some battles going on further back, but it's really behind the top two yellow and green Seats that you need to watch for the battles going on. Chilton versus his teammate Shedden, and Shedden just following dutifully at the moment. Then Turkington, then Onfro Cole. The white BMW is Stephen Kane, going well at the moment. He's followed by Fabrizio Giovanardi, who's had a bit of a second chance here, having lost so many places at the start of the race. Then it's Adam Jones and Rob Collard, who's also come up well from his qualifying position. No changes though on the restart so far on board Turkington as he looks back at Onfro Cole.
Yeah, quite humid now, and it's going to take its toll on the tyres here. A little flash of flame there out the back of the car, but it'll be interesting to see how the Seats cope with their tyre wear later in this race, because the car is a lot heavier at the front with all the turbo ancillaries of the engine. So it'll be interesting to see how it works. You might start seeing it a little bit slower through that Coram bomb hole bend.
Shedden just closing up to the back of his teammate. These two cars running absolutely together. Like we've got two cars up front in team order. The Seat on board with Turner. Accelerates out of Sear corner, up through the gears. Diesel turbo doing its stuff very quietly but very efficiently. They're very rapid down at the end of this Revit straight. They're fastest on the speed traps regularly down here. There's John George. He's had another spin by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's in the same place actually, but it looked like he's got the engine refired because there's a bit of exhaust flame out the back. So hopefully he'll be moved by the next time. But John George clearly got a problem going through Riches at the moment.
And Stephen Kane's got a bit of a problem as his mirrors fill up with Fabrizio Giovanardi. So he's finding it a little harder to hold on to 7th place as Giovanardi begins to put on the pressure in that next group behind the leaders. Plato, Turner, no problems for them. Seat have always gone well here at Snetterton. A couple of years ago, they had a couple of 1-2 finishes when James Thompson was in the other car. Plato and Thompson shared a couple of 1-2s. Kane in the background was a bit wide out of Russell. He could be under threat from Giovanardi. Just watch behind. Yes, look, Giovanardi's got a little chance at an overlap. Trying to get past 7th place man Stephen Kane. There we are, getting alongside on the run up towards Riches, but he's going to try and go around the outside. Fantastic aggressive racing as ever from Giovanardi.
Well, that's incredible, isn't it? How tough was that to turn in from the dirty side of the track and cut across the front. Good driving by Stephen Kane not to touch him as well, but again a very aggressive pass by Giovanardi.
That was great stuff. I tell you what, they're on the brakes so briefly there, Tim, aren't they? I mean, how did he get that run going?
Yeah, it's basically a dab on the brakes and down one gear. So very quick corner, approximate corner speed at the apex, 120 miles an hour.
Adam Jones in the silver, red and black Sayat is on a bit of a run here as well. He's trying to move up if possible, get past Collard. I think Collard actually got past him on that lap. Yes, he did. So Collard is the one that's gained the place. Rob Collard up to 9th. Jones wants it back. Now remember, these two had to come together last time out at Croft. Adam Jones ended up with a couple of penalty points on his licence as a result, but didn't actually have his position change. He's having a look down the inside. Don't hit each other, guys. Oh, the history between them. They have hit each other again. Collard has been displaced, and Adam Jones and Rob Collard, the duel continues.
Well, we've seen this all the time from Adam Jones, and whenever he's passed, he always fights back immediately at the next, or if not the next but one corner. And we saw the same thing again then, but now he's under big pressure. He could hold this if Matt Neal starts putting Collard under pressure, but they're both up the inside now.
Matt Neal's joining in the fun and games in the Vauxhall, the red and white Vauxhall. He's got up the inside there, I think. Yes, he has. Jones is squeezed out wide. Collard gets his place back, and Jones loses 1, 2, 3, 4 places, maybe 5, because Stephen Jelly's alongside him. You make one little mistake in touring cars, and that's what happens. You can lose 5 places in one go. He's trying to come back, and remember, Adam Jones leads in the independent points category. Meanwhile, Mike Jordan's managed to sneak round past Matt Neal. How did he do that?
Yeah, and Stephen Jelly's just got past Jones as well by braving it around the outside, and that's Harry Volkard in the one Chevrolet out there. There he is going through the picture now, the Robert Shaw racing car, the only one out there, and he's back onto the tail.
Good stuff, yeah, nice to see Harry Volkard joining into this battle. Just the one car here this weekend, and now here we are on board with Matt Neal chasing Mike Jordan. Jordan taking advantage on that last lap and doing well at the moment. So we've had 11 laps completed. We're on lap 12 out of what is now a 21 lap race. Matt Neal crosses the line in 11th place. Mike Jordan is in 10th, and up ahead of them both is Rob Collard in 9th.
Yeah, you just heard there on Matt Neal's, it's just the faintest lift and a dab on the brakes before back on the power through there. Very quick corner.
Yeah, and yet Giovanardi was still able to make that move last time. Incredible. Through Sear corner, a bit more braking required for that one. Matt Neal's got pressure himself, though, from Matt Jackson. Jackson, one of the stars at Croft last time out. You know, he won the High-Q Champagne Moment for his performance at Croft last time, as voted by visitors to the website. They reckon that his drive from 18th to nearly winning the race at Croft in race 2 was definitely the star performance of that event. And now he's found himself a little stuck here. Didn't qualify as well as we might have expected. And Matt Jackson, 3rd in the points. There he is, just following Matt Neal at the moment. Finds himself down in 12th and desperate to move up the order here. Behind him as well, he's got to watch out for Stephen Jelly. Yeah, Matt Jackson only started in 13th, so he's certainly not repeating that Croft performance of charging through the grid, but that, of course, was in wet conditions, and in the dry, the performance much more equal. Yeah, absolutely right. Conditions were pretty horrific, weren't they, at Croft last time out? Sayats, of course, qualified well at Croft, and it all went wrong for them on race day. The drivers made some mistakes. Plato went off even on a warm-up lap. Darren Turner also had his troubles, but things better here. Now, this was what happened a little while ago. Jones tried to get down the inside of Collard. That was the contact that we did see, but it all went wrong for him after that, didn't it? Well, fortunately, they both straight-lined the chicane. Jones fighting back to regain a place. They make contact, both go the wrong side of the High-Q banner and rejoin, but that could have been a lot worse. But they gained the position, but it didn't do him any good, because at the next corner he lost 3. That's it. Well, that's the way it is. Plato leads, Turner in second. They've not disappeared up the road, or whether they're just controlling their pace. They're not trying to give too much away here. Darren Turner riding shotgun for Jason Plato, and no chance at the moment for Tom Chilton to challenge for that. Chilton closes a bit under braking, as you would expect. Slightly lighter on the front than the Sayat, so probably brakes a little bit better. Right behind him, it's got Gordon Shedden, and Turkington still holding on to 5th from Monzo Cole. Yeah, I would expect if I was in the Sayat garage at the moment, I'd be a little bit concerned. I would have expected the two cars to pull away a little bit further, because clearly they will run into greater tyre issues at the end of the race. And whether it's just Jason stroking it along, knowing that he's got Darren behind him, but and they may be capable of going quicker, but Darren will be hoping that Jason gets on with it, because if he comes under pressure from Chilton late in the race, it could be very awkward. Yeah, it could be interesting. I mean, on that last particular lap, Gordon Shedden was the quickest of the top 4, wasn't he? So, yeah, there is a chance there for the Team Halford's cars. Nearly 3/10 quicker than Plato. So it may be that Plato is just coasting a little bit, trying to save his tyres, but they don't want that gap to come down below a second. No, that's right. They just eased out a little bit on the other half of the circuit. Darren Turner's just set Well, in fact, that was the lap a few laps ago. That was on lap 9, new lap record, a 1:11.711. They were very quick in qualifying, in the low 1:11s. Remarkable pace from both the Seats. Of course, Darren Turner coming off the back of another victory at Le Mans this year in the GT1 class in the Aston Martin. So many congratulations to Darren Turner. That was in the break between the Croft race and this one at Snetterton, but now he's back in a touring car.
Yeah, some of these drivers have done some other racing. Certainly 24 hours at Le Mans with the Pro Drive Aston Martin Golf-sponsored team, and fantastic result. Twice on the trot for Darren. See him on the podium at Le Mans was great.
Yeah, it was, but he says this is in some ways tougher. British touring cars is so competitive, so hard. If you make just one little mistake in a race, you've got so little time to make up for it. No mistakes from either Seat driver so far. Riding on board with him, cruising it sounds like down that Revit straight, but actually they're absolutely flat out here.
Yeah, that's 145 miles an hour, just over. So very, very quick. And they brake virtually as they turn into the S's. And then the driver has to really modulate his braking all the way through that left-hand bend.
Yeah, I was watching down there, and you're absolutely right. The Seats are sort of locking their left rear. Ooh, a little bit of a slide there for Stephen Jelly as he tries to attack Adam Jones. Adam Jones actually had just got past him, I think, on that lap. Jelly was trying to come back at him. But yeah, that braking control, the guy's really working hard down there at the S's. It's a good place to watch. Real skill coming into play there. Other parts of the circuit which are a bit more flat out. But Plato's still in control of this race as he completes lap 15 and goes on to lap number 16 out of 21. All looking good for the Seats at the moment. They desperately need a good weekend. Plato dropped from 2nd to 4th in the championship after the last round at Croft, and this is exactly what they need to try and pick things back up, particularly with the first of the Vauxhalls sitting down in 6th place here. Giovanardi in 7th position, not able to pick up as many points. And remember, where they finish this race is where they'll start the second race of the day. It's amazing how quickly fortunes can change with the point scoring system in the British touring car. So this is good news for Seat at the moment.
It certainly is. They've got that gap just comfortably. The lap times haven't dropped off too much. 12.6 on the last lap, 12.5. Amazing, the first three cars all within a tenth of a second of each other.
Matt Jackson, oh, he's hit Matt Neal, just a touch there between Jackson and Neal as Jackson tries to take the place. Matt Neal says, if you're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you back. And Jackson ends up on the grass, as he did here last year when he was battling for second, and now they're all trying to swamp him. Jones gets down the inside, Jenny's going to try and go through. What do you make of all that, Tim?
Well, you probably could have predicted, but it's not over yet. They're into corner, the fastest corner. Volcar and Jones make contact, front-wheel drive, Jones saves it. Volcar backs off as well. That could have been very tricky. Jackson's already had one accident there this weekend. But, well, you don't touch Matt Neal and get past without expecting some kind of retaliation. And, well, Matt just touched him enough going into the S's to put him on the dirt and then no traction.
Well, hard run. Talk us through it again.
Yeah, coming down the straight, I don't think that it was deliberate. They're just converging. Well, Matt Jackson is trying to move back across onto the line. Matt had a little bit of space on the right, but didn't want to concede anything. So Matt just rolls it into the corner. Little touch. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I can imagine that one will get looked at afterwards. This was Matt Neal after the run. He says, oh, I'm just going to try and get in there before you do. And, well, we'll see whether he gets into trouble for that or not. With the little tap beforehand, maybe they'll just say, well, it's a little bit 50-50. And there's our race leader. Jason Plato and Matt Neal have had their moments here at Snetterton in the past. But at the moment, Plato is out in front and clear, with Turner still doing a good job, but Chilton definitely a bit closer this lap. There is the third place man. The two Team Alpha's cars running very competitively here, and Chilton definitely closer.
Yeah, we'll see the lap times on this lap as they cross the line, but you're right, he's visibly closer. Plato at 12.3, Turner at 12.6, and Chilton and Shedden 12.3. So it's Turner that was 0.3 of a second slower.
Jackson and Jones a moment ago, they got side by side into the S's, bit of rubbing, and Jackson, ooh, ended up on the grass, running wide on the exit as well. So Jackson in the wars at the moment. This is not what he needs. Yeah, oh, he did well to miss the tyres.
Yeah, he did well, but obviously the splitter dug in, it ripped the front aero off as well. That corner's definitely not Matt Jackson's favourite this weekend, is it?
It's not working out for him at all, is it? He needs the points. He can see his big rivals all scoring quite well at the moment. All a bit spaced out. Giovanardi on his own there in the middle of the red screen strip. Stephen Kane and his teammate Rob Collard, they're running in 8th and 9th. 10th place, there's Mike Jordan. Matt Neal in 11th. Then it's Stephen Jelly in 12th. Adam Jones still going, but he's down in 13th. Looks like Turkington's going to take the independent win in this one, and that should in fact put him into the lead of the Independents Championship, which Adam Jones has been in front of so far. And in fact, this is going to be Jones's worst result for a long time. He's had a run of about 12 top 8 finishes as Adam Jones, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time, because he's all the way down in 13th. You're looking back from second place man Darren Turner at the moment.
Yeah, but look how far away Chiltern is now at the end of that straight, and that gap will increase again down the next straight, and then Chiltern and Shedden close it all up through the bomb hole and the final corner Russell. You saw how close he was on the brakes into Russell. The change of direction actually between for the set is the worst part of its programme.
Just see again as he gets onto the straight how he eases away, doesn't he? And for a driver, it's a lovely feeling to be in that situation, but for the driver behind, it's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, the driver behind is very difficult, because it's very difficult to pass if the car is always quicker on the straight. Here again, and this next half, if we stay on board, it's where the Hondas will catch up. Their change of direction, their cornering agility is going to help them. But on the straights, when the car in front always goes away from you, how do you ever get past? Because you can never get near them in the braking areas.
No, very frustrating. I have to say, Chilton's being quite patient though. Sensible driving here from Tom Chilton in third. Probably realises that it's not really on unless there's a mistake from one of the Seats to get through, but he's got ahead of his teammate, and a useful podium. He's only had the one podium so far this year, Tom Chilton, so this will be a bit of a confidence booster for him if he holds it. Shedden, though his teammate is still right with him, and we've still got a couple of laps to go. 2 laps remain then. The two Team Halfords cars running in tandem, as are the two Seats out in front. Plato, though, has just opened up a little bit more of an advantage on that last lap. Remember, he'll be carrying maximum ballast next time. That could make more difference. Turkington still in 5th place, leading independent. Onslow Cole in 6th, Giovanardi 7th. Stephen Kane is in 8th place, Rob Collard 9th, and Mike Jordan holding on to 10th position.
Yeah, Jason Plato's still knocking out those 1 minute 12.3s, only 6/10 of a second off the fastest lap of the race, so clearly no problem with the tyres at the end of the race for him, but Turner's dropped off his pace by some 4/10 of a second.
Looking back at 10th place man briefly there, Mike Jordan, so our top 10 coming through, sliding their way through Coram Curve. It's a fast sweeping corner, little bits of rubber getting chucked off to the side of the road there, and now down into a very different tight right-left, pop it over the curve. Look how well the cars behave over the curves. Always amazes me how good they are. The teams do so much work on the damper technology, but it's brilliant to watch how they just soak up the bumps and soak up the curves.
Yeah, they're almost invisible, aren't they? A touring car driver can attack what would look like a massive curve, and certainly would be even if you hit it in your road car, and the four-way adjustable dampers with bleed-off valves and all the rest of it, they just soak it up. Incredible.
Yeah, very, very clever stuff. We're on the final lap, though, for Jason Plato, and it does look as though it's going to be a relatively comfortable victory for Jason. It's about time. They've had a bit of a poor patch, certainly last time out at Croft, but it looks like he's going to come back from that. This will be his 3rd win of the season if he holds on to it. Giovanardi, the championship leader's had 4 wins so far this year, but interestingly, it'll also be Seat's first 1-2 of the season, so definitely what they need to get back on track.
Yeah, so often this year they've had quick cars but shot themselves in the foot in some respect, and Croft was a great example of that, but it's all worked out fine, and they will want to bag as many points as possible. But don't forget, Jason Plato will be starting this next race with maximum ballast, so could be a bit tougher for him, but full marks to him, full marks to Seat, full marks to Dunlop. The tyres have worked perfectly round here.
Here we go then, Jason Plato coming through out of that final corner. He's going to take victory in the first race of the day at Snetterton. It's his 4th win in 4 years here at the Norfolk Circuit, his 41st career win, and it's a 1-2 for Seat. Absolutely dominant, with Tom Chilton taking 3rd, Shedden in 4th, and we're waiting for the others to come through. Turkington 5th, Onslow Cole in 6th place. Good battle for the final points. 10th place just goes to Matt Neal. Matt Neal takes 10th ahead of Mike Jordan. So, the final runners there, John George, I think, actually got past him on that last lap, so good result after his entertaining fun and games earlier in the race. But it's Plato who takes the victory by half a second from his teammate, Darren Turner. Chilton in 3rd place ahead of Gordon Shedden, his own teammate as well, and then Turkington in 5th. Tom Onslow Cole in 6th place ahead of his VX Racing teammate, Giovanardi. Then Stephen Kane, another teammate right behind, Rob Collard, and 10th, just on the line, was Matt Neal.
I want to talk to you first of all about that race. How did the car feel? Because our commentary team was talking about maybe you were just pacing it. Did you have more left?
I mean, effectively, yes, we had a little bit left. but that's, you know, a tenth a lap, and that's really on the edge. And, you know, when we're in that sort of position, we need to look after our tyres. You know, we're in a great position. The last thing we want to do is make a mistake, let it all close up, Darren then gets under pressure. So, yes, we had it in hand. Hondas were very, very quick.
Darren, I was over kind of listening in. I suppose I shouldn't have been really, but I want to tell the guys at home, you were worried that the Hondas were closing in, or not too much?
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, they were close all the way to the end. I mean, the gap between me and Jason across the line was probably the same as the gap I had to Tom. So, you know, it's a very close race, and I think it took us a bit by surprise. So, you know, the next race we just need to work a little bit on the car now and see if we can find a bit more pace. But obviously when I'm following Jason, I can see what his car's doing, and we're just saying then when we got out of the car, we had two cars with pretty much the same setup but handling completely different. So we're going to sort of play around with the setup now, because he had oversteer, I had understeer, and together we were just going around as a little happy family.
The diesels are a different league down the straight, 4 mile an hour faster, which is bonkers. So I think the team has done a mega job, because over the 6-week gap we've really developed the car. We've tweaked the car, we've tweaked my brain. I'm as fit as I've ever been in my life. I want to start doing some triathlons, and yeah, I just feel like I'm on top of my game, and everything I'm focusing towards it's all going in the right direction. I'm very happy.
I know you're on a real positive note, but is it frustrating to sit behind two cars when you know there's very little you can do about it?
What's frustrating is when you end up closing under brakes, and then the gap you've pulled out on your teammate, who's in the same equipment as you, catches you back up, and you're like, oh, I've got to pull out, because obviously both within half a tenth every lap, and I'm trying to pull out half a tenth on Gordon every single lap by just getting everything perfect. And what's annoying is when you pull a gap, you then lose it, because these guys are slow in the tight corners, which they are, because they're a heavier engine block. So I'm also trying to work out, can I outbrake these guys at some point if they make a tiny mistake, and also when they're bunching up, not to let anyone else pass behind me. So you're trying to do two things at once. But I was very relaxed in the car and just clicking those gears away up the straight. As Maiko once told me, just relax and let the car do the work, and I did, and it was mega.
Well, a very welcome win for Jason Plato, and believe it or not, that's his first victory since round 12 at Thruxton back in May. Right, we're going to keep the action rocking along here at Snetterton. Join us in a couple of minutes when we'll be live on the grid for race 2 of the day.
Seat take their first 1-2 of the season, and Jason Plato grabs his 3rd win this year. Can they keep it going for round 17 of the championship? Let's go over to our commentators Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Thank you very much, Janie. Well, I think the prospects are pretty strong that they can do it again, Tim, don't you?
Well, stories in the pit lane, they might even have been sandbagging that first race, but we'll find out for sure this race where they have to carry maximum ballast. And Giovanardi, of course, runs with no ballast.
Well, let's see how they get on then. Plato carrying 45 kilos, he's on pole position. Darren Turner alongside him carrying 36 kilos of lead ballast. Then Tom Chilton, Gordon Shedden, they both got a bit of ballast on board. And then Colin Turkington in the BMW, the Team RAC car, usually pretty fast off the line. Let's see what he can do. But further back, watch for this little group. You've got Fabrizio Giovanardi back on the 4th row of the grid, the series leader. Didn't quite go according to plan in that first race. He had a new clutch on board, apparently. It wasn't fully bedded in. That's part of the reason he didn't get off the line so well. You've got Stephen Kane down there with rear-wheel drive BMW. His teammate Rob Collard right behind. But then another Vauxhall, and that is Matt Neal just behind him as well. So the Vauxhalls really needing to do something special here. Tom Onslow Cole is the first of the Vauxhalls on the grid. He lines up in 6th position. So we'll see the cars are off the line going away on their formation lap. And again, it's Plato and Turner that lead them away. The rest of them follow along okay. I think nobody left behind on the grid. And just laying a little bit of rubber down. Again, conditions pretty much ideal today, Tim. Sometimes we've been here at Snetterton midsummer and it's been really almost too hot, but today it's just about ideal.
Yeah, it may not look too sunny on the screens, but it is quite humid. The ambient temperature is up and it is quite humid. So the drivers are working hard in the cars, but they've all obviously, or most of them have tested here, the test in between Croft and this race, and they've certainly good. Race pace is very good. No problem at all really with tyre deterioration. Plato's race pace in the first one was very good, so expect no problems in that department.
So let's take a look at that grid once again then. It is the Seats on the front row. Pole position for Jason Plato and Darren Turner alongside, looking for their second 1-2 of the season, of course. On the second row of the grid, Tom Chilton and Gordon Shedden, the two Team Halford's cars. They pushed the Seats reasonably hard, but were the Seats just playing with them? We'll find out probably in this one. Colin Turkington lined up in 5th place on the grid. He's got Tom Onslow Cole right next to him. Both of them could be quite aggressive in the opening laps, I would think. And so could Fabrizio Giovanardi, starting from 7th place, defending the championship lead that he has. Stephen Kane coming from 8th place on the grid in the motor-based BMW. His teammate Rob Collard just behind from row 5 with Matt Neal, the double champion, driving from Vauxhall this year. He's coming off the 10th place. Then Mike Jordan, who was just beaten. He had a misfire at the end of that last race. That's why he was beaten across the line. Stephen Jelly is next to him. On row 7, we've then got Adam Jones and Harry Volkard. Adam Jones has now lost the lead in the independence points to Colin Turkington. Matt Jackson's all the way back on row 8 in his BMW, with Jason Hughes alongside in the MG. Then as we get towards the back, we've got John George and Erkut. They're together on that 9th row. The 10th row of the grid, Andrew Jordan, who ended up in the Maze field earlier on. The car's repaired, he's back out again. Michael Doyle is next to him. And then at the back, Martin Bell, the team has done a great job to get that car rebuilt. Alan Taylor next to him. He had a wheel come off on the formation lap last time around. I think he's made it round okay. But well done to Arcus Racing to get Martin back out. He's a little bit sore, a bit stiff after that shunt, but hopefully he'll be okay for the race.
Yes, and he's got his lucky green bonnet on. We just saw it going through shot there, so hopefully it'll bring him a better second race result.
Well, green bonnets up front as well. The two Seats then in prime position to try and make it 2 wins out of 2 races here at Snetterton today. And Jason Plato trying to kickstart his championship campaign here today. He's taken win number 3. If he could win this one, he would then match Giovanardi for the number of race victories they've had this season. 2 great rivals of last year, of course, and battling once again, it looks to be, for the championship this year. All set to go then. Wait for those lights to come out, and then a short pause, and they'll be away. Lights out, away we go, very quick this time, and again the 2 Seats are pretty fast off the line. Chilton and Shedden go with them, so does Colin Turkington. Don't think Turkington's been able to make full advantage of his rear-wheel drive, but he's close up behind the leaders. Turner trying to go around the outside of Plato. The 2 Seats side by side through Riches, but can Plato hold on the inside? I think he will. So it's still Jason Plato leading. Darren Turner trying to slot into second, but he's been pushed out of the way. I think Chilton, and off goes John George. Oh, he's been off a few times today, and he's off again in this one. I think Chilton might have taken second, Tim. We'll have to see what's going on.
We're on board Turkington now, and you can see Chilton and Shedden in front, and it looks as though the Seat Turner has held on to second place. The power of that Seat down the straight has just saved him. Yeah, it got him back in front. It's still attacking though. Chilton almost got up the inside there. Great view from on the front bumper here of the BMW of Colin Turkington. Team RAC. Oh, a mistake from Turner, and a mistake there from Shedden as well. Cold tyres, that's the problem. Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of cold tyre front-wheel drive problems on the first lap, and here we are through a faster corner, but Turkington couldn't capitalise on that. Chilton's up into second place, so Darren Turner has dropped to third, and we've got to change. It's not a Seat 1-2. Turkington we're riding with, still trying to get past Gordon Shedden as well. But up front, it's Jason Plato that leads. Tom Chilton in an excellent second place. Superb first lap there from Chilton. Darren Turner's been pushed back to third. Shedden in fourth. Turkington in fifth. And Giovanardi is putting all the pressure on Colin Turkington there. The reigning champion and series leader right up there at the moment as they head up towards here. Here comes Giovanardi. Yeah, he's got down the inside of Turkington. Classic manoeuvre there. And he's through. He's gained one. He's into fifth place. Yeah, Giovanardi, much more what we expected to see of him. He got a great start, unlike the first race, and it was Onslow Cole this time in the Vauxhall team that slipped back. I saw Giovanardi dive up the inside into the first corner, and he's carried on that progress. Yeah, he has moved up, but watch the battle up front as well, because Darren Turner was trying to get his second place back, and I think he might have done it. I think Darren Turner's used his diesel power. Yeah, look, he managed to just drive past Tom Chilton. Slides again. Chilton is back to third, and that's the power advantage that Seat have here. Yeah, we didn't see it, but clearly he was able to drive past. It is the longest straight in British motorsport. We've said that before. The Halfords cars side by side. Shedden down the inside, and he's taken the place from Tom Chilton. But watch out, boys, you've got Giovanardi breathing down. And off goes Jelly. Yeah, Stephen Jelly. Looked like there was a bit of assistance there somewhere. Definitely a tap on the back. The front-wheel drive cars can save those kind of slides. The rear-wheel drive cars can't. Giovanardi then having a little look to get up the inside of Chilton. Not close enough. Oh, he touched him. Oh, yes.
just a little rub, a little rush. Oh, and he's over the curb, bouncing around. He's under pressure now from Turkington once again. Turkington's got the inside line. They're being ganged up on other BMWs around the outside. Stephen Kane, Rob Collard as well. And Giovanardi could lose out big time here unless he finds the right slot to get back into.
Yeah, Giovanardi getting a dose of his own medicine from Turkington there. Lost speed through Riches, looking for a way past the Honda. And now look at them, 4 abreast.
2, 4, 6 cars all battling for the same place. Turkington's got it. Giovanardi's trying to squeeze with one of the Team Alphonse cars and Tom Chilton, but through. Oh, he's got knocked sideways by Chilton. Giovanardi tries to hold it. He can't, and eventually he's on the grass.
Yeah, he still managed to keep going in the right direction, but that was never going to work, was it? 5 cars going into that corner. Giovanardi will be livid because he's clearly got good pace, but he just couldn't hold on to it.
Well, that could be interesting to watch his recovery now. So Turkington has taken... Oh, and Chilton on the grass. Tom Onslow Cole...
Has he got a puncture? He may have a puncture or a problem.
Good. Oh, and Onslow Cole almost spins. Holds it just about. Great recovery from him. It's going crazy back there. Rob Collard is in the lead of the Motorbase BMWs.
Chilton into the pit lane. I think he has got a puncture.
Right, well spotted. And Mike Jordan there now has got to the front of that next. Oh, contact on the straight. Come on, boys. Behave yourselves, getting a bit silly out there. Tom Chilton, it was all pretty clean in the first race. They're all letting loose now.
Yeah, this is always the way when you sort of have the ballast on the front-running cars. It can change the pace after the first race. But certainly they've all lit the fuse paper now.
Yeah, Tom Onslow Cole attacking Mike Jordan here for 8th place. Mike Jordan in the John Guest car under pressure from the Works Vauxhall, but Turkington is in 4th. Rob Collard an excellent 5th here at the moment. 6th place is Matt Neal, then it's Stephen Kane, then Mike Jordan leading this next little group. As you can see, Tom Onslow Cole's in there, so's Adam Joe. How Volkard this time spins, half spins, regathers control. Andrew Jordan was the one who made contact, and they both lose places. Michael Doyle goes up the inside, and it's another front bumper gone from Andy Jordan. He lost it in the first race, he's going to lose it in this one as well. Oh, it's all a bit crazy.
He may have been dropping fluid there as well. He may have been dropping some radiator fluid there, so that could be dangerous next time round.
Yeah, definitely a lot of smoke. Whether it's steam or tyre smoke is a little hard to tell at the moment, but Andy Jordan in trouble. I should think he may well be coming in the pits. His dad under pressure here from Tom Onslow Cole. Onslow Cole up on the outside in the Vauxhall, and Mike Jordan's going to have to defend here on the inside. And Onslow, oh, look at them making contact. Onslow Cole trying to go around the outside. Adam Jones, you can't go 3 abreast, surely. They do, that's remarkable. Now Jones has got the inside into Sear. Still Jordan and Onslow Cole making contact. Onslow Cole squeezed out wide, and Giovanardi's going to take advantage.
He might pick up 3 places here, Giovanardi. This is a really topsy-turvy touring car race.
This is brilliant. He might have been a bit quiet in the first one, but they're really letting fly now. The Vauxhall on the left, you can see there is Giovanardi, who's managed to get to the front of this little group once again. Oh, he's just locked up a little into the S's, gets the control back into the second part, and he's ahead of Adam Jones. So that puts him back into, I think, 9th place. We'll confirm that. May even be 8th, because Tom Onslow Cole there has dropped back a bit more. He's under pressure now from Matt Jackson. So I think Giovanardi may be up to 8th, but there's quite a gap, of course, ahead of him to the leaders up front. Matt Jackson definitely under pressure as well.
Yeah, under pressure from Michael Doyle, and let's give a shout out to him because he's doing really, really well. He got stuck in through that 3 wide in the bomb hole and came out in front, and he's really, really going well.
Yeah, nice to see Michael Doyle, the youngster, going so well here. Just looking at a little replay, this was when Volkard, he got sideways one way, and then Andy Jordan couldn't really help but sort of tap him the other way, but the others piled past.
Yeah, no, and that was Andrew Doyle just getting down the inside.
Yeah, I think that was the on-board of Andy Jordan when he sort of tangled with Volkard, and he had bits of bodywork all flying off the car. Not much he could do about that, and I think he's been into the pits since then. So disappointment. Up front, remind you that it's Jason Plato leading the race from Darren Turner in 2nd. Gordon Shedden is 3rd, Turkington 4th, Collard in an excellent 5th place, then Matt Neal in 6th. 7th now is Stephen Kane, and as we thought, 8th it is Fabrizio Giovanardi. Battle for 10th between Mike. All round goes Onslow Cole, he lost it under braking.
Yeah, that was a strange one really, because he'd done most of the braking and then the car just swapped ends from the rear, as if he had too much brakes on the rear, or as if he maybe had a puncture or some dirt on the tyre, because that was a little bit strange, that one.
Yeah, just looped round on him. There are the race leaders. Look at the 2 Seats again in control, Plato and Turner. whistling their way past us on the start-finish line. Gordon Shedden in a very competitive third place, and then the little gap back to Colin Turkington, who's under a bit of pressure from Rob Collard. This is, again, another great run from Collard, who seems to have really got his act together with this car over the last couple of events. Croft was good. This is going well at Snetterton too. The rest of them coming through still. Mike Jordan holding on to 10th. Matt Jackson behind him now.
Yeah, Collard's really clicked with this BMW now. It took him the first half of the season, but as you say, came strong at Croft. And Rob has always been a really good racer. But I think we've got Janie down in the pits with Andrew Jordan.
Certainly do. Andrew, that was such a difficult race to keep it on track. What happened?
It was one of those, to be honest. It looked like it was going to end in tears, and I ran around the outside of Matt Jackson through the left at the S's, and Harry Volkard's got a bit sides through the left, and as I was going for the apex, it just flicked back on him, and I hit him in the side, which wasn't intentional. He lost it a little bit on the left, then it flicked back with the momentum behind it. So it's one of those things, but very disappointing, very disappointing.
Better luck for the next one.
We need some luck, I think, so fingers crossed we'll get some.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janie. Well, Stephen Kane here is still applying some pretty solid pressure to the back of Matt Neal. Both of the motor-based cars are going well in this one. Collard running 5th, Stephen Kane in 7th, but between them is a fairly feisty and determined Matt Neal.
Yes, and we've seen how he deals with BMWs in the first race with Matt Jackson. No action taken over that incident, by the way, just a racing incident. But Stephen Kane had a lot of understeer in the first race. He worked his front tyres a little bit too hard. His driving style is to push the car very hard into the corner. You can see there he carried a lot of corner entry speed, and he relies on his front tyres to do the turning then for him, and it wore them out a little bit. But certainly he's going well, and he's going to keep the pressure on Matt Neal.
Yeah, this is a good run from Stephen Kane, but Matt Neal holding 6th at the moment. Won't be easy to pass. He's not been up to his usual competitive standards, Matt, but this is a bit better for him. He's ahead of his teammate Fabrizio Giovanardi, who's down in 8th place as a result of the little incidents we saw early on. And Stephen Kane, remember, still in his first season of British touring cars, and Matt Neal quite sideways into Coram. It's nicely under control, but just gives you an idea, maybe the back end of the car's beginning to move around more.
Yeah, the front-wheel drive cars tend to set their cars up so that the back end will slide a little bit in the very fastest corners, because in the slower corners where the back end grips, it then gives an easier time to the front tyres. So not uncommon to see the front-wheel drive cars just drifting a little bit through Rich's, Bombhole and Coram.
Always looks good too, doesn't it? Fantastic. And this Vauxhall Vectra tends to be a good car in the fast corners. It's got good stability, slightly longer wheelbase than some of the others. Matt Neal, though, definitely not finding it easy here, with Stephen Kane bearing down on him. Stephen Kane, a very fast single-seater driver in his time, then moved over into the Porsche Carrera Cup. You raced against him last year, Tim, and he was a multiple race winner, and here he is, really putting the pressure on Matt.
Yeah, great little driver, chirpy chappy, and good attitude, very professional, but keeps a good head on him, and I think I like Stephen. I think he's the sort of racing driver I think could go a long way. But just talking to Tom Onslow-Cole yesterday about the various setups on the 3 Vauxhalls, all the drivers still have a very different setup on the Vauxhall. Neither Matt Neal nor Tom Onslow-Cole can drive the setup that Giovanardi has. He has a very understeery car, but he makes it work for him.
Interesting, isn't it? Fascinating. Well, he is a 7 times touring car champion around Europe, so it obviously works, and he's proven it works. But Giovanardi down in 8th in this race, remember, and it means that Plato's going to be able to close up that gap in the points even further, and this is turning into what Seat hoped it would be, a very, very strong weekend. Stephen Kane that little bit closer again. There are the 2 leaders, though, and Jason and Darren Turner well out in front of Gordon Shedden, under no pressure whatsoever. Oh, round goes Matt Neal! Was there contact on the exit of Riches? Matt Neal regathers momentum, amazing save. He gets going again. What a fast corner to spin at.
Yeah, and he's dropped back behind Giovanardi. I couldn't see from that angle whether there was contact. Collard I think there possibly was a touch there. It's unusual to run into the car that far around the corner, but
here we go. Should be a good view for us, Tim.
Yeah, a little bit. Collard just was looking to carry his momentum up the inside, and Kane, was looking to carry the momentum up the inside into Sia, and just caught the back of Neal's car.
Well, Matt won't be very impressed by that. They will no doubt review it, but it may be put down as a racing incident. They just seem to get very close on the exit of the corner. As you say, you don't normally expect to close on somebody quite like that on the exit of a corner, but it now puts Kane under pressure himself. from Fabrizio Giovanardi. So Matt's done his teammate a bit of a favour here, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has. And Giovanardi himself has had problems in this race. If you remember, he was turned around nearly, and he just set the fastest lap. So he has the fast car we knew he would have, and he'll be looking to get past Kane. But then there's quite a big gap to Collard, so it could be as far as he's going to go.
Yeah, I think the Clark, Bob Kettleborough, is going to be quite busy after this one. There are going to be a few drivers coming up to see him, to argue, and Onslow Cole pulls off to the side of the road. Well, he's been involved in one or two little incidents. Maybe, no, he's not pulled off, he just had a spin there and is rejoined at slightly
well,
odd place.
we saw him have that moment, didn't we, earlier on, and which was a strange oversteer moment, and maybe he's had another one going around Coram, because that would explain how he ended up on the infield there.
Yeah, obviously the car not tracking quite right. Matt Jackson on a charge, trying to get past Adam Jones. These two battling in independence as well. This is a fairly crucial battle, but Jones doesn't fight too hard. I think he's struggling a bit for pace in this one, and decides that it's probably better to just sit in behind Jackson and try not to drop too many places. Mike Jordan's not far behind them in 11th place as well, and Matt Jackson desperate to try and move up. It's not been a good weekend for him so far. Oh, look at this, the leader swapping around. Now, you gain an extra point for leading. Seat have done this before, where they allow one of them to, Turner's just led that lap according to our timing screens. You get an extra point for that, and I think that's what they're doing here.
Yes, they've got such a luxury, they can actually afford to just let Turner lead across the line and get the extra point. And certainly the pace that they're carrying in this race with the full ballast means that they really have got a very fast car here this weekend.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's what everybody thought. Seat's going to be strong whatever happens, and even in the reverse grid it'll be fascinating to see how much they can scythe their way through the field. But still looking at this battle between Stephen Kane and Fabrizio Giovanardi. Ahead of them, Rob Collard runs in 5th. Kane here under pressure for his 6th place from the champion and series leader Giovanardi, who's using the road cleverly here, just trying to get a bit more momentum out of the S's, but so evenly matched on the power out of the corner that he can't use it.
Yeah, just to give you an indication how good those Seats are, Giovanardi, the championship leader, with no ballast and fastest lap in this race, is barely a few hundredths of a second quicker than Turner's fastest lap with second maximum ballast. So just shows how quick they are.
Yeah, they are going extremely well. And Giovanardi here looking to try and gain another place. Every point he knows is going to be crucial in this championship, just like it was last year when it went right down to the wire and he won it by 3 points from Jason Plato. Well, it does matter. You've got to try and make the moves. You've got to go for it, because if you don't, then you could lose out by that narrow margin at the end of the season. So at the moment, Stephen Kane just about fending off the reigning champion for that 6th place. Pretty good run out of steer. That's where he needs to be, just enough ahead that Giovanardi doesn't pick up the slipstream. There is Jason Plato and Darren Turner. Shedden a little bit closer in 3rd. Turkington in a rather lonely 4th place. 5th place for Rob Collard. Then it's Stephen Kane versus Giovanardi. Little lock-up this time from Stephen Kane. Did that in qualifying yesterday, I noticed, but it doesn't really hurt him too much.
No, the inside wheels obviously are unweighted as you brake all the way around that left-hander, and it's quite common to see the front-wheel drive cars dragging a rear wheel, and the rear-wheel drive cars actually locking up the left front.
That's right, yeah, it does seem to be the case. Giovanardi tight into the curve at Coram, down towards Russell they come. Safety car is on track now. I don't know what that's for, but something has happened somewhere, and the safety car on circuit. So,
not what Seat wanted to see, but on the other hand, we've seen from the restart after the safety car in the first race that they can easily out-drag everybody, but it will close up some of the other gaps.
The other thing, of course, is it does take the pressure off their tyres a bit, doesn't it? Because it gives them a chance to cool their tyres down. The Seat is slightly nose-heavy, as we know. Maybe actually, in some ways, it's quite good for them.
Yeah, I mean, it can cool the tyres down a little bit. It certainly lets the pressures recover, and it just gives the drivers a couple of minutes to think about where they are, have a chat with their engineer on the radio, and it looks as though the positions have changed between Giovanardi and Kane.
Yes, yeah.
And there's a possibility it was done under the yellow flag, but we'll have to see.
Right,
they do, of course, race back to the start-finish line.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'll have to spot that one and see what happens. But at the moment, Giovanardi being shown as 6th ahead of Stephen Kane, then Matt Neal in 8th, Matt Jackson 9th, Adam Jones in 10th place, Mike Jordan 11th, Stephen Jelly is 12th, Michael Doyle in a competitive 13th, and this is great to see Michael going so well this weekend. He got his first points last time at a cross. He's got a new colour scheme on the car. It was a barrier It was a barrier that got moved partly onto the track. That was the reason for the safety car. So
yeah, that's down at Russell, the final hairpins, the final chicane. So someone obviously straight-lined it and turfed the tyres into the track.
Let's see if we can find out. Now, this was coming around on when the yellow flags had come out.
And they are still racing. Yeah, they're still racing to the actual line. Little touch there, another touch there.
Yeah, we'll take another look from the other angle here, because we'll see them actually come across the line on this one, won't we?
Just shows how hard Giovanardi's prepared to fight. He will fight every inch. Well, Kane's moving over on him there to make him go the long way round. And then it's a case of, well, in fact, Giovanardi was in front as they crossed the line. That's why he's shown in front on the timing screens, and that's perfectly legitimate.
Yeah, absolutely. They're allowed to race back to the line. He did that, and he just got ahead of Stephen Kane, despite Stephen being fairly forceful in his defensive attempts. So now that puts Giovanardi between the two motor-based BMWs. You've got Collard ahead of him now in the number 25 car, and Stephen Kane behind him in the number 24 car. So that'll be interesting on the restart. We've had 14 laps of this race so far. We're on lap 15 out of what is currently 18, but we'll get these laps added to this as well. Let's see if we can have a quick word with Darren Turner, because the lights are out on the safety car. It's Ben in the commentary box. Quick word with you, Darren. Things going okay at the moment?
Yeah, they're going pretty well. It's a bit like the last race. Just trying to sort of make sure that me and sorry, I'm having a bit of trouble with the gear shift there. Me and Jason can get it to the lights now, but I'm sure Gordon's going to be pushing like crazy now. We've got a few laps left, so just trying to get temperature in my tyres and see what happens in these last few laps.
Okay, we'll let you get ready for the restart. The lights are out on the safety car, so we know they are going to be going for it. And just heading down towards Russell Corner, everybody bunched up, so there's an opportunity here for one or two who might be brave to go for it. Plato making sure he's got plenty of heat in the tyres. Here we go then, safety car comes into the pits, and the Seats are on the power immediately. Plato makes a good restart. I don't know if Darren's got a bit of a problem.
He's got a problem with his gear shift. He can't change gear.
Here comes Gordon Shetton attacking for second. There's an opportunity to get...
He's got a puncher, left front.
Puncher on the Seat. Disaster for Seat when they were looking all set for another 1-2. And it's a puncture on the left front for Darren Turner. It wasn't just a gear shift problem, much more serious than that. Plato's on his own up front now, and that promotes the others. So Shetton moves up into second place. Turkington's up to third as Darren Turner desperately just tries to get himself back to the pits. He's not going to get any kind of result out of this. Plato on his own up front now. Shetton into second place, and under pressure from Colin Turkington. Look at Giovanardi having a little look to get past Rob Collard. Not quite close enough just yet.
This is just what Giovanardi wanted, didn't he, after that difficult start? The pack to be closed up again, a few more laps of racing. He's got a fast car, very aggressive, just what he needed to keep the championship points rolling in.
But Collard is notoriously feisty himself and a hard man to pass. Collard and Giovanardi have come together before. Now Giovanardi's going to go for it down the inside. He's trying to take the play. Oh, yes. So good on the brakes. I mean, he braked so late, and yet the car was stable.
Yeah, very committed, totally committed to the manoeuvre. Collard didn't even put up a fight. I think it was so straightforward that he would, if he tried to move over, he'd have been hit up the back.
Giovanardi's now fourth. I mean, when you think how far back he dropped at the early part of this race, he's now fought his way back into fourth. He's been helped by a couple of other cars coming out, but Plato won't like to see that in his mirrors, because now that red and white Vauxhall's only 2 cars from where he is, and Giovanardi's scoring points in the championship. Other Vauxhall there of Matt Neal on a bit of a charge as well, with those motor-based BMWs ahead.
Well, we've said it before, but these are the sort of races where champions really show their mettle. And it would have been easy after he got nerfed sideways, lost a load of places, to have lost his head. But he hasn't. He's just got his head down, moved forward. He's still going. He's got a possibility of 2 more places here.
Oh, out of Darren Turner. He's out, but look at this. This is great. This is for second now. You're on board third place Turkington, right behind Gordon Shetton. Remember, Giovanardi's behind both of them, trying to take advantage. Oh, it's a mistake from Shetton. Turkington's through. Shetton's on the grass. He's trying to hold it, and Giovanardi's gone past as well, and so has Rob Collard. Turkington is into second place. Giovanardi into third position, and we've still got, 3 laps to go as they cross the line this time. Jason Plato well in front, but you know what? Giovanardi might still take second.
Yeah, well, there's just the faintest hint of a black mark on the left front splitter there of Turkington, so there may have been a bit of contact with Shedden going into Coram, but Giovanardi isn't finished.
No, certainly not. We had some more people on the curve. Look how much curve he uses at Sia. Really is aggressive on the curve. Giovanardi, but so far so good. It's working for him. The Vauxhall and the BMW. Look, there's nothing between them on the straight. That's how evenly matched they are. I think that's incredible when you've got two cars, different shapes, different engines, and so evenly matched on the straight. Turkington, little tiny mistake, and Giovanardi saw it, almost tried to take advantage, but ultimately couldn't. So it's still the Team RAC BMW of Turkington second, the VXR Racing Vectra of Giovanardi in third, and in fourth place is Rob Collard, fifth Stephen Kane, and sixth is Matt Neal.
Yeah, I thought that Giovanardi would be attacking here into Russell, but he lost a bit of time going through the bomb hole. Turkington's car was really well balanced through there.
Good on the brakes though, Giovanardi, as ever, tight over the curves. Matt Neal in the back of that group, and Gordon Shedden still there. He hasn't vanished altogether, but he's down in 7th position now. So the restart didn't work out for him. Matt Jackson is running in 8th place, Mike Jordan 9th. Adam Jones back up into 10th place, Stephen Jelly is in 11th.
Well, I think Shedden was very lucky with that trip on the grass outside of Coram, that it wasn't wet. If that had been yesterday, he'd have just slid off into the barriers. But as you say, he managed to get back on and is still in 7th place.
Slightly different line from Giovanardi. He turns in a bit tighter, a bit earlier into Sear corner. Turkington in the rear-wheel drive car sort of squares the corner off a bit more. And as they come onto the Revit straight, they're absolutely matched mile per hour for mile per hour here. No change in that gap, despite a bit of slipstream. You'd think that the slipstream might favour the guy behind, but it's not to be. It's a strong engine in the BMW, and it just stays ahead through there. Again, Giovanardi tries to get the exit better this time. This was where he lost a bit,
yeah,
wasn't
just
it?
watch through here. This time Giovanardi's a little bit better, but he will certainly think that into Russell is his best chance. He needs to be fully committed through here. We just can't be close enough to Turkington to launch an attack.
No, and he got to protect the car. Matt Neal down the inside behind them. Matt Neal's managed to get past Stephen Kane, and that was a good move. And in fact, Stephen Kane may lose out to Gordon Shedden here as well. He's got Matt Jackson bearing down on him, and that's the trouble. If one car gets through, quite often it's 2, 3, 4 cars, and Stephen Kane now has Gordon Shedden moving to his outside. Turkington, Giovanardi, then Collard, then Matt Neal, now ahead of Stephen Kane, who just about fights off Shedden, who actually lost out to Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson just stuck his nose up behind Kane and followed him through, NASCAR style, a bit of drafting.
Yeah, good stuff. It is all about strategy and tactics and just being in the right place at the right time when it gets this close. We're on the final lap though here. Jason Plato has a 3.5 second lead, but it's behind him that all the fun and games is going on. Plato surely heading for another victory, but here comes Giovanardi having a look at second. Not quite there. Turkington defending resolutely. No contact made through the left and the right. Now just the 2 quick corners and the final chicane at Russell. Turkington should be able to hold on here. Jason Plato out in front. He's not troubled at all, but he will be a little troubled to have seen Giovanardi move back up the order quite so effectively in this race. It is amazing how Giovanardi can dig himself out of trouble, and that's what he's done here in the second race of the day. It's going to be victory once again for the second time today for Seat, for Jason Plato. 4 wins this season, but second place goes to Turkington and third goes to Giovanardi. Collard comes home in 4th, Matt Neal is 5th. I think Gordon Shedden, no, he drops back at the bit there, so then it's Stephen Kane in 6th, Matt Jackson in 7th, and Gordon Shedden is in 8th. Well, what a race that was, and Jason Plato dominant, but it just shows you the problems for Darren Turner. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, Jason Plato will have no idea what sort of a race that was behind him, will he? Because all the talk won't be about his victory, it'll be about all the action behind.
That was great stuff going on behind him. Jason, as you say, had it all very easy, didn't he? He didn't have to worry, he had his teammate behind him most of the time, and when he didn't, he then just eased away on the restart. Jason might be a comfortable winner, but behind him those guys knew they were in a race, with Turkington in particular doing well to hold on to second place and winning the independence category. Giovanardi 3rd, Collard in 4th place, Matt Neal in 5th, then Stephen Kane, then Matt Jackson, Gordon Shedden, Mike Jordan finished in 9th, Adam Jones in 10th place, and then just outside the points Stephen Jelly and Jason Hughes. Michael Doyle, good effort from him in the in-tune racing car, ahead of Tom Onslow Cole, then Tom Chilton, John George, Harry Volkard, Martin Bell, Darren Turner, who lived to the end, and Alan Taylor, who finished 20th.
So Jason Plato cashes in on the technical dominance of the Seat diesel to win the second race of the day here and extend his points haul, even with all that ballast of 45 kilograms. But we will hear from him and make the draw for the third race of the day in a few minutes' time. Welcome back to Snetterton. That was a race that had absolutely everything. Vauxhalls getting absolutely mugged by Hondas and BMWs. But Jason Plato emerging and managing to get 2 out of 2 so far for Seat. And Janie is down in the pits. Actually, no, let's have a look at the standings before we go down to Janie. Fabrizio Giovanardi does still lead, but now it's straight on 28 points now from Jason Plato. He moves up straight into second place from Matt Neal, Colin Turkington and Matt Jackson in 5th. Okay, now we've got that sorted out, let's go down to Janie.
Well, Colin, that's just what you needed, but it was tough. I can see by the look on your face.
Yeah, it's a very, very tough race. It always is at Snetterton, you know. It's one of those tracks where the racing never gets spread out and there's always someone hassling you from behind. But I'm delighted to come through from 5th to 2nd. You know, the safety car helped me out a little bit, but, you know, that's 2 independent wins today for Team RAC, so it's really good. And,
of course, you had to be really defensive in your driving because you had Giovanardi right on your tail.
Yeah, I was hoping it wasn't him. I was hoping it was some of the other Vauxhalls because he's a tough customer. But we had some pace left in the car for those last few laps, so yeah, I was able to just about hold him off.
Well done, mate. Let's have a quick chat with Giovanardi. You said to me, not that quick, you said to me after the first race that you didn't enjoy it, it was really boring. Was this more your style?
Yeah, this was completely the reverse side. Yeah, I really enjoyed this race. Not completely, because in the end when someone spin, I don't want to say who, someone spin me, I was so angry. Yeah. So angry. That give me power, and is what I did is for that.
Is it difficult when you get that angry? Is it difficult to stay calm, or is all your experience just, you know, you don't have a problem with that?
Yeah, sometimes you just don't think. You try to overtake cars, but in the same way you have to use the head, because I had a good recovery, so I'm not so far as Jason. In the end, I can say, yeah, I've done the right race, and sometimes you don't want to do that. You're just coming through.
Okay, thank you. Best of luck for the next one.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks very much, Janie. Jason, well done. Let's talk about that sly Italian, first of all. He always comes back. Even when he was mugged by everybody else, he comes back.
He's a proper stinker, that lad, isn't he? I got a radio call saying Gio P14. I thought, oh, this is nice. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's a class act, isn't he? It's going to be a great fight from here on in, all the way to the end.
Now, has it been tricky to cash on? You knew you had an advantage here, but has it been tricky still just to cash in and maximise those 2 wins?
Yeah, I mean, it's never easy to win at this level, even though the Seat AMD diesel does have an advantage here. You know, it's a circuit that suits our car, and we've, the engineers have made great progress in the 6 weeks we've had off. But that said, racing's tough, and whilst we have an advantage in clean air, when other cars are behind us, then they effectively have the benefit of our diesel because they can get in our tow. So, yeah, it's all swings and roundabouts, but 2 in, 2 done. We've got a third race to do. Let's hope we can slide through them like butter.
Like butter? Or margarine, perhaps?
No, not stalk. Okay. Utterly butterly.
Okay, good stuff. All right, listen, here's the reverse grid. Here, there's you have to look out for. This is decide who's going to be on the pole position for race 3 of the day. 6, Stephen Kane. 7, Matt Jackson. 8, Gordon Shedden. 9, Mike Jordan. And 10, Adam Jones. Jason, I don't think you're going to mind which of them is on pole, actually. Okay, sorry, Samantha's going to give it a quick spin and you're going to choose. But you don't really care about that slot.
Yeah, I'd rather be 6th, though. I want a 6 out of the thing.
Then.
My lucky number 6. Where are they gone? Let's have a look what we've got.
8. Okay, there it is. If you just hold it up to there. So Gordon Shedden in the Honda will be on pole position for race 3 of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a moment after the Tour de France stuff. Let's join Ben Edwards for the rest of the grid.
Thanks very much, Ted. So it is Gordon Shedden then on pole position. That'll be interesting. He's been fast all day. Matt Jackson will be alongside him. And then Stephen Kane. Stephen Kane, the Motorbase car. They've been having a pretty good weekend so far. Matt Neal's up there too, double champion, of course. He now starts 4th. And Rob Collard in the 2nd of the Motorbase entries, starting in 5th place. But watch out for Giovanardi. We saw how well he was going in that race, and he'll be starting in 6th position in the Vauxhall Vectra. So plenty to do there. And then as we go further on down the grid, then you'll find Colin Turkington, who finished 2nd just now. Jason Plato, double winner. Can he come from 8th? Well, we'll have to wait and see just how fast that Seat is. Behind him we'll have Mike Jordan and Adam Jones, and then it'll be Stephen Jelly starting in 11th place, and Jason Hughes pretty well up in the MG, just outside the points in that last race, so hopefully he can just go up 1 or 2 better in the final race of the day. Behind those guys we've got Michael Doyle having a good weekend so far, Tom Onslow Cole, another of the Vauxhalls, Tom Chilton, who picked up a puncture in that race, he starts 15th, John George will start 16th, then it's Harry Volkard, he had contacts towards the end, and Martin Bell, of course, at 18th place. And that's going to be the lineup for the race number 3 with Darren Turner, Alan Taylor, Andrew Jordan and Erkut at the back.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you very much, Ben. Well, listen, we're off now. It's time for the Tour de France. As the guys go into the mountains, it's about to get very difficult for them. As for us, well, I think we're going to go off and have a nice leisurely Sunday lunch at Seat. Seems pretty appropriate. We'll see you in a couple of hours' time. Goodbye. It's our one visit of the year to Norfolk for the HiQ MSA British Touring Car Championship. It's round 18, and straight back over now to our commentators Tim Harvey and first, Ben Edwards.
Thanks very much, Ted. Yeah, we're all set for the third and final race of the day, and it is the reverse grid race. I love this one, Tim.
Yes, it's all to play for now, and finally the Seats will have to overtake some cars. Jason Plato lines up on grid 5 behind Giovanardi, and Darren Turner right at the back.
Yeah, a lot of work to do, but Darren Turner, you know, no ballast on board. He could do some pretty special things. Use the power of that turbo diesel. Let's quickly look at the grid then. It's Shedden and Matt Jackson on the front row of the grid, and then right behind them it's Stephen Kane, another BMW, and Matt Neal, of course, looking for only his second win of the season. On the third row, Rob Collard and Fabrizio Giovanardi. Giovanardi, the star of race 2. Colin Turkington, though, also went well. He was second earlier on today. Jason Plato with 2 wins, looking to make it the hat-trick. Mike Jordan is starting from the pit lane, so he's not 9th on the grid where he should be. Then it's Adam Jones, who is starting 10th. Behind them, we've got Stephen Jelly and Jason Hughes, BMW versus MG. And behind them, Michael Doyle, a bit of a star effort from him in the Intune racing car, with Tom Onslow Cole alongside. Then we've got Tom Chilton, quite a long way back. John George is next to him. Harry Volkard starts on row 9 with Martin Bell. And then right behind them is the one to watch in a way, Darren Turner. He starts on the inside of row 10. Alan Taylor is alongside him. And the 2 cars at the back are Erkut and Andy Jordan. So that's how the grid lines up then for this third and final race of the day. Very consistent conditions. We've had a bit of cloud cover all day, just enough to stop it being too warm in a way, but pretty much ideal conditions for the cars and for the Seats, which have been going so quickly. So coming up onto the line, there is Darren Turner. He's so far back, I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge to see the lights.
Yes, he's actually got his engineer Nick Clipson calling the lights for him. In other words, red, 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 go, in case he can't see them.
So there is our pole man. Now, Gordon Shedden could well win this race. He's been fast all day long. The Scot won here last year. He's in the Team Halford's Civic Type R. It has been pretty quick. It hasn't been able to beat the Seats up to now, but he's starting ahead of them this time.
Yeah, he's certainly been very quick so far in the first few races. Good chance here.
Right, engine revs begin to rise. We're set to go racing for the third and final time. Away we go, and Shedden and Matt Jackson gets a great rocket start. So does Stephen Kane, and it's the rear-wheel drive BMWs. Look at that, 1-2. Matt Jackson under pressure from Stephen Kane as they head up towards Richards Corner. Stephen Kane trying to squeeze through for the lead, but no, it's Matt Jackson who takes the advantage, and the pole man Gordon Shedden back to third. Here comes Kane. Oh, I thought he was going to have moved down the inside there. Good start from Rob Collard as well. And the rest of them now fighting their places.
Jason Plato had an absolute mare of a start. He dropped back many places. In actual fact, Darren Turner that's Jason Plato pulling out to use the Seat power to pass a few cars, but he really lost out a lot, and Giovanardi has swept through.
Shedden having a little look down the inside of Stephen Kane's car into the S's, but no way through just yet. Poor start, you would say, for Shedden, but not really. It's just that the rear-wheel drive BMWs always have the advantage at the start, so Shedden did his best, but the rear-wheel drive cars around him and behind him got through. There's Darren Turner gaining 1 place on this opening lap, so perhaps a prediction of Dave Ward, team boss, that Darren Turner would maybe catch and pass Plato isn't too far beyond the point here. Race leaders come down into the first, into Russell, the final chicane. Giovanardi tucked in there behind Matt Neal, his teammate, I think, in the battle of the Vauxhalls, and both of them are now ganging up on Rob Collard. Here comes Matt Neal to the outside.
Well, we've seen the Vauxhalls go round the outside. I don't think Neal is quite close enough. He's going to have to brave it out, but Collard's a tough nut to pass, and I thought Giovanardi might look up the inside. Neal sweeping back inside, Collard's run wide, the door's open, and watch Giovanardi up behind Neal as well. Neal's cleanly through, will Giovanardi get in?
Well, he certainly got in to see a corner ahead of Collard as Matt Neal, and as you say, Giovanardi's got a chance to draw alongside the BMW, side by side down the Revit Straight. 130, 135, nearly 140 miles an hour before they get on the brakes, and you're on board with Colin Turkington. Look at how close he is to the back of Giovanardi, down towards the S's then. Who's going to win the battle on the brakes here? Into the left-hander, squeeze into the right-hander, brakes locking, and they've both got past Collard.
Yeah, they set up a line of cars on the outside and just swept round. There was no way back in for Collard. Fortunately, no contact.
Jones coming through. We've just heard on the radio that Darren Turner's got an engine problem, I think. Just heard something from Darren Turner with our onboard radio that he may have an engine problem. He's sitting in that queue, the second of the Seats. He's tucked in behind Adam Jones. There is Jason Plato gets a little nudge there from Tom Onslow Cole. Darren Turner might have a problem, but at the moment the car seems to be running okay.
Yeah, nose to tail at the moment, and everyone's got their tyres warm now. Poor old Turner really does struggle. But Plato, meanwhile, is making some better progress now.
Yeah, Turner, he said he had a problem on the radio, but the car's still running all right. He was challenging Jones. Don't know what's going on, but he's certainly complaining that there's something wrong with the car. Anyway, Tom Onslow Cole still battling with Jason Plato here, and that is for 9th position. So Plato currently in 9th. He's really got his work cut out. Meanwhile, up front, Matt Jackson leads, but Stephen Kane with the red stripe across the windscreen is battling to hold on to second from Gordon Shedden. Shedden, the Scot, so tight and getting past. This is giving Matt Jackson a chance to get away. Matt Neal and Giovanardi through in 4th and 5th places. Then Turkington in 6th position. Collard is in 7th. Jelly is in 8th. Plato 9th. Onslow Cole in 10th. Then Chilton, Adam Jones and Darren Turner still running okay at the moment in 13th place. Gordon Shedden having a little think about going for the inside. Decides against it into Russell, and it's Matt Jackson in control.
Yeah, Gordon Shedden, as you say, didn't get away perfectly at the start, but the BMW swept past, and Matt Jackson, he's very good at leading races. He tends to get into a good rhythm, keeps clocking off the laps, and certainly with this little gap behind him, he can take his own line and try and drive some perfect laps, and this, if he can get this to the end, he'll be very pleased to have salvaged something from a miserable weekend.
Indeed he will, but fastest lap's just gone to Giovanardi, who's sitting in 5th at the moment. There you are, 1:12.497, fraction quicker than his teammate Matt Neal, who's still ahead of him on the road. Matt Neal's had a bit of a tough weekend, and these guys just race. There's no team orders involved. They are each allowed to race as hard as they like. Still in the early stages here of the race at the moment, as Gordon Shedden again has another little think about attacking for second place, and Giovanardi closes up to the rear of Matt Neal's car. Nothing he could do there though. Shedden there in the battle for second. Matt Jackson being allowed to make that little bit of a break. Then this gaggle of cars behind, which Jason Plato's in the middle of. Now Darren Turner has dropped back here, Tim, and I think he has got a problem, as we thought. He's dropped several places.
Yeah, he's asking the team if they want him to carry on or blow the engine up, but they want him to carry on if they possibly can and to score some points.
Why does he always get the bad luck, Darren Turner? That the team said to me earlier, if he didn't have any bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all.
I mean, the guy can race in Le Mans for 24 hours and not put a foot wrong and everything go perfectly, but he never seems to get the breaks in 3 touring car races.
That's right, the puncture he got earlier, they reckon was just some debris. Well, what did it happen to him? Anyway, back to that battle for second, and here comes Gordon Shedden. Where is he going? He's going off to Thetford. No, he's back on the track. The old track used to head down that way to the A11, but he's back on the circuit. But the battle for second place that he was wanting, well, it's all over for the moment.
That was really driver error, because if you look, he looks as though he's going to go down the outside, but then realises there's not enough room, gets a wheel on the grass and just can't stop the car.
Oh, that's a great... Andrea Giovanardi's passed Neal, that's for 4th. Oh, this is a good threat now from Fabrizio Giovanardi. He's got past his teammate, and now he's got to go chasing after. It will be Stephen Kane. In fact, he'll be 3rd now, because we've lost Shedden from those lead positions. That's 3rd place for Giovanardi. He's got the BMW of Stephen Kane to try and catch, and Stephen Kane in the best ever position at the moment for Motorbase. So he'll want to hold on to 2nd place, but he's got the championship leader behind and closing up. Rest of them coming through there. Turkington with Collard and Stephen Jelly and Plato just trying to accelerate out of Russell with Onslow Cole behind. So away they go, up the straight one more time. And Plato there, I think Plato might have a problem as well, you know. Look, he's just lost.
Yeah.
He's just lost some places.
I was watching that. Very unusual to see the Seat get that kind of problem on the straight. We'll have to see. I think JP's got the same problem as Darren Turner, we've just heard on the engineer's report.
Absolutely. So whatever's happened to the Seat of Turner has also happened to the Seat of Jason Plato. Notice a bit of black smoke. You don't normally see the car smoking when it's in the race. It's only if it's been idling and then accelerates away that you ever see any smoke out of it. So I don't know what the problem is, but Seat are in trouble here. They're not going to get the hat-trick today, and we're going to see a different winner, no doubt about it. The two Team RAC cars there are sandwiching the other BMW, the Motorbase car of Rob Collard. In the pits has come Shedden after that slide on the grass. Did he pick up a puncture or something else? I don't know. They're having a good look around, but Shedden's not going to take the victory here either. Up front, remember, it's still Matt Jackson who leads this race, already a race winner this season, and he would love to take another victory here today.
It is possible that something broke perhaps on Shedden's car, and that's why he couldn't slow the car down and had to take to the grass. So we might have done him a disservice there by saying driver error. I'll wait and find out, but they're certainly working on the car. But it's BMWs to the fore at the moment.
It is, isn't it? Looking at this one of Turkington, he's running 5th. Rob Collard right behind him in 6th. As we heard from Dave Bartram earlier on, this is Motorbase's best sort of run of the season so far. Here comes Onslow Cole down the inside of Stephen Jelly. And Stephen Jelly sort of saw him coming and left the door open once he was committed. And Onslow Cole into 7th place, but Jelly might try and come back at him. Onslow Cole is always fast here at Snetterton, so don't count him out of the picture in terms of moving up the order a little bit. He's got to try and get past Collard and Turkington as well, and Jelly trying to have a little go back at him here, and in fact he might get it. He's alongside, he's got the inside line, but no, he runs a bit wide on the exit, and Onslow Cole gets it back.
Well, he did the hard part. Jelly did the hard part, which is to break round the outside. Then he just couldn't get the car stopped for the right-hander. Now he's lost 3 places back.
Yeah, that was silly really, because he could have held that place, or at least only lost 1, but now he's lost 3. He's still learning though. He's out of single-seaters. He's not used to quite this rough and tumble of touring car racing, and every step like that is another lesson, and Stephen will be kicking himself afterwards, but he'll learn from it. He'll come back and fight again another time. Up front, remember, Matt Jackson leading, but Stephen Kane is a bit closer, and Giovanardi's closer to both of them. Look, top 3, no, that's not top 3, there's the top 3, Jackson, Kane, and look at Giovanardi.
And Giovanardi on that last lap set the fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 12.4, which is considerably quicker than the cars in front.
This is good stuff from the reigning champion. He is on fine form here this weekend. Took a victory here last season. Look at the lights beginning to flash. He's trying to rattle one of the newer drivers in British touring cars, Stephen Kane. But Stephen knows the ropes. He's raced at a high level in single-seaters. He's beat some of the top F3 racers. A man whose career has been looked after a long time by Damon Hill, in fact, former world champion, of course. And Stephen will not be put off by a bit of headlight flashing in his mirror. On the other hand, he will want a podium finish out of this, and he will know that they're well away, these 3, from the next group. So if he fights too hard, he might be in danger of losing a podium, and that might be more important to him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he will race as hard as he possibly can, because smoke coming out of that Seat, and it looks like it's dead. It was all going so well for them this weekend, but they do have a habit of sometimes shooting themselves in the foot, that team, and not picking up the points they should do.
Bad news for Darren Turner then. So looks as though they've got him back out on circuit. Jason Plato is still running, but he's dropped an awful lot of places in this race. He's down in, I think, 13th. No, he's dropped more places now, Plato. We're still waiting for him to cross the line. And so Plato really struggling here. Giovanardi up to 3rd place. The 2 BMWs are ahead of him though. Matt Jackson, the youngster in his 2nd season of British touring cars, and a man who has had a victory already this season, leading independent in this race. The car in 2nd is also an independent, so there's the first Works car, and it is Fabrizio Giovanardi.
Yeah, I mean, on the last lap, these first 3 cars all set identical lap times, so I think that Giovanardi is perhaps thinking, well, I've done the hard work now, I've got up behind these 2, I've got a clear gap behind me, I can just sit and let this race play out for a few more laps.
And indeed, with Plato in trouble, he'll be told where Plato is, he'll know where his rivals are. So in a way, he doesn't want to take too many risks. Let's get down to Janie in the pit. She can tell us what Seat's problem is. Janie.
Yeah, apparently, I've just spoken to Team Boss, and apparently the engines both have a misfire. That's on Darren Turner's car and also Jason Plato's. So they brought Darren in to have a look and find out exactly what it was. That's the problem, apparently, and he's gone back out. So I guess they're just going to see how far they can get with those engines.
Thanks, Jenny. Very disappointing. Plato down to 15th place with that misfire. Oh, look, that's Onso Cole up the inside of Collard. Onso Cole gains another one. That's 6th place now for Tom Onso Cole. So he's gradually working his way nearer the front, and Vauxhall's suddenly coming alive in this race. They're running in 3rd, in 4th place, and now into 6th position as well, as Giovanardi keeps that pressure on Stephen Kane.
Yeah, Matt Neal trying to close the gap a little bit to that first 3. If they stabilise a little bit, there might be a chance for Matt Neal to catch up. But certainly no real drama at the front here. They're all doing the same times yet again, and Jackson's certainly got into a good rhythm, and Kane is just pacing himself off him.
Yep, Stephen Kane as he comes into Russell Corner, and Matt Neal bouncing over the curbs. You can see another good little race developing behind between Collard and Tom Chilton, and then Adam Jones in the number 21 Seat there as well, trying to join in the fun and games. He's running in 9th.
Yeah, Adam Jones, such a star of the independence class, but his car really outpaced on these long straights. His car, of course, has the petrol engine. It may look the same as the turbo diesels, but it has last year's petrol engine.
Still an effective power unit, isn't it? We've seen them do great things with the petrol engine in the past, but now the works team has switched to the diesels. Behind him is still Stephen Jelly. He's running 10th. John George up to 11th. Jason Hughes 12th. Harry Volkard is 13th. And Michael Doyle is 14th, but some glum faces at Seat.
Scott Dennis, motorsport manager at Seat, and obviously looking very disappointed. Every time they try and get it right for the whole weekend, something seems to conspire to hinder them, and it makes championships very hard to win.
Yeah, desperately frustrating for them. Collard versus Chilton and Adam Jones. This is for 7th. There's Plato in now. So Jason Plato, after all the successes of earlier on today, 2 victories, but it's no way it's going to be 3 wins this afternoon. And now Tom Onso Cole is putting Colin Turkington under pressure. Onso Cole's been doing more overtaking than virtually anyone in this race so far. In the second of these two, the red and white cars. But we hear that Plato is going to be coming back out onto the circuit. So Jason Plato will try and rejoin this race, but, well, he's not really going to score anything, I think. On board Turkington, under pressure now from Tom Onso Cole. These two guys were teammates last year, and now they're racing. And there's Plato just rejoining from the pit lane, as you saw from that shot.
Yeah, look at that great on board there of Onso Cole. His car looking fantastic. He's looking down the inside. This is his favourite place to pass, into Sear, and he gets the job done. And no surprise, he was half a second quicker on the last lap, so really found a sweet spot in his car for this 3rd race.
He was so quick through Richards, wasn't he? I mean, Turkington had nothing he could do there. Unusual in a way to see someone just go straight up the inside into Sear, but it was because of his speed through the previous corner. Look behind, there's some fun and games going on. Adam Jones trying to come down the inside. Tom Chilton around the outside. Oh, good stuff from Chilton. Managed to hold on there. Collard stays in front of Adam Jones, and they all just about get through the corner. Now Jones is going to try and get up the inside into Bumble. Oh, these two again making a little bit of contact, as they did at Croft last time out, as they did earlier on today when they came into Russell, and Jones gets through.
Oh, great side-by-side racing there. Collard got put out on the marbles, and he's going to lose another place now to Jelly, whose opportunist move. He's getting into this touring car racing.
Yeah, he's learning. Meanwhile, apparently Jason Plato's getting a black flag, so he's forced to retire now. Look, there you are, car number 11. That is Jason Plato. He has to come into the pits and report to the clerk of the course.
I wonder if that's because he's been dropping some... Well, that would have been a mechanical flag if that was it, but clearly they don't think the car should be out there.
No. Giovanardi still in 3rd, is he? Just lost the track. Yeah, there he is. He's still sitting in the wheel tracks of Stephen Kane. So no change up front. Still Matt Jackson, race leader. Stephen Kane in 2nd place. Fabrizio Giovanardi in 3rd. Then the gap back to Matt Neal. There he is. Double champion, but back with Vauxhall for the first time in quite a long time. Tom Onso Cole next up in 5th. Turkington 6th. Then Chilton in 7th. Jones followed by Stephen Jelly and Rob Collard. That's the top 10, with John George still just outside the top 10. Be a great opportunity for the privateer, the amateur racer John George, to move into the top 10, but he'd have to see one of these guys have a problem to achieve that. So as they come around this time, 13 laps will have been completed. We'll go on to lap 14 out of 18. Matt Jackson still looking strong.
Went into the Vauxhall garage to congratulate Giovanardi on his drive in the second race, and the team manager Ian Harrison said, if only I could get him angry before all of the races, and he drove like that. But he certainly seems capable of doing it now, and knowing that Plato is out will possibly make him settle for that third place.
Yeah, he may play the percentage game here, Giovanardi. He's so smart, he's so intelligent, thinks it through all the time. Just saw Piers Phillips and Jason Plato commiserating with one another. It's not to be 3 victories, and in fact we can hear from Jason Plato. He's with Janie now.
Jason, a black flag after such an amazing start to the weekend, those other 2 races. Can you tell us why you've got black flags?
I'm not sure. I mean, we've got a fairly major engine problem with a big misfire, and the engine's not working very well, and I think they're saying it's kicking out smoke, or I don't know, that's the reason. But I mean, the car's not well. So, you know, even if we weren't black flag, we were going to just pull it in anyway, rather than destroy the thing. I mean, we don't know what's wrong, but the same thing's happened to Darren's car as well, so...
And you have no idea what the problem is?
No, I mean, they pitted Darren first, then looked through the data, and just can see some very strange things going on in the engine. But it appears it's the same problem on my car, so, you know, that's motor racing, I'm afraid. At least we've had 2 good races at the start of the day, and it wasn't meant to be.
No, thank you.
Thanks, Janie. Well, Matt Jackson still leading this race. Giovanardi just looking to hold on to that 3rd place at the moment. Jumped over the curb a bit at Russell, so he's still trying quite hard, but I think, as you say, Tim, there's no point in him taking a big risk now. Not with Plato out of the race, so Volkard's in trouble.
Yeah, puncture there on the right front, which is unusual to get a puncture on the right front. You can see here down the straight the car's deflated and he's struggling to slow the car down. Unusual to get it on the right-hand side. Obviously the left-hand side is the loaded corner, but the trouble is that if the drivers cut the circuit too much, there's some sharp curves and some flints. Mickey Butler from Dunlop said there are some flints, and these are punctures caused by debris or hitting the stones or curbs.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a little bit of a problem here, and that must have been fairly frightening, turning into the quick left-hander where you need to get the car slowed down into the S's. Still, Matt Jackson from Stephen Kane, and for which he really does use that curve. Sparks flying from underneath.
Yeah, very aggressive across there. I remember a few years ago when Giovanardi arrived in the championship and took a couple of sumps off the engine by cutting across the curbs, but he continues to do so. But I genuinely think he's fairly happy sitting here, and it'll be a great result for Jackson and for Kane if they can pull off this 1-2.
I tell you what, I almost don't want to start talking about it for Stephen Kane and for Motorbase, but it would be their first ever podium finish, and if ever a team deserves it, the amount of work that they've put in, not just this year but in previous seasons, it would be wonderful. But let's not get too excited, we're not at the end
yet.
Well,
I'll just say if he does do it, it'll be sponge cakes all round from David Bartram.
Wonderful stuff. Well, let's just keep fingers crossed, but we've still got a couple of laps to go here. We're on lap 16 out of 18 here. Tom Chilton on a bit of a charge, maybe putting a mounting attack on Colin Turkington. Turkington in 6th place, hasn't quite been able to match the sort of pace of the BMWs that are leading this one. Of course, they had the advantage at the start. They were on the reverse grid, they were up near the front anyway. They used their rear-wheel drive advantage at the start very effectively. And Matt Jackson, when he gets in front, as you said, Tim, he loves it. That's where he wants to be, controlling a race. Stephen Kane and Giovanardi both bounce over the curve there at the first part of Russell. And Stephen Kane doing a good job so far, not being rattled by seeing his mirrors filled by the reigning champion and points leader as they come around. Complete another lap. That's just 2 laps to go now.
Well, there's a theory that the 3rd race of the day is the easiest race to do well in because of the reverse grid and the ballast. But you have to work the system. You still have to deliver the goods. And certainly Matt Jackson and Stephen Kane, with their fabulous starts off the line, got them into this position.
Yeah, Stephen Kane, I mean, he's keeping pace with Matt Jackson absolutely solidly here. There's no real difference between the two of them. He was actually a fraction quicker on that last lap. And here's Turkington versus Tom Chilton. Chilton got to try and keep it clean. He had a little bit of contact in that race, the second race in particular. So Giovanardi was a bit upset about it, but it all settled down and Giovanardi was able to recover from it. But here's Chilton on a track he knows and loves, and in 7th, wanting that 6th place and trying to get past the BMW.
Listen to the revs as he goes down that gearbox. The car virtually on the rev limiter, using the engine as much as possible to slow it down, but without over-revving it.
Yeah, very important, that part of the circuit. Just to keep it under control, but Turkington using all the curb and a bit of grass there into Coram, and look how close Chilton is. Oh, almost touching at one of the fastest sections of the circuit, and Adam Jones is right there with him. looking for a little way past as well.
Yeah, Chilton got a bit too close at the wrong point there. Came up behind him on the apex rather than carrying the momentum to the exit. But they're on to the last lap now. Turkington has got one more lap to hang on to that 6th place if possible. Up front, Giovanardi not close to the first two, but Stephen Kane actually putting pressure on Jackson, and he's been quicker for the last 2 laps. There's Turner pulling out of the way. He's hobbling round to the finish.
Yeah, and Jackson actually kicked up the dust and the grass on the exit of the seat. He is under pressure from Stephen Kane. Released from Giovanardi, Stephen Kane fancies his chances a little bit. Down under the bridge they go. Jackson still in front at the moment. I think Stephen Kane will only sort of go for it if presented a big opportunity, because he will not want to throw away a 2nd place finish. But Matt Jackson controls it through the bomb hole. They've now got just 2 corners to go, basically. The fast sweeping Coram corner, no problems through there, and then down to the final right-left. That's the Russell chicane, and it's Matt Jackson that's heading for victory. Stephen Kane jumps over the curb into that one. Matt Jackson's going to come through to take his 2nd victory of 2008, but it's a first ever podium finish for the Motorbase Performance team. Stephen Kane takes 2nd, Giovanardi a fine 3rd for Vauxhall. 4th place and 5th are going to go to Vauxhall as well, with that Vectra very strong in the final race of the day. Colin Turkington, I think, is just about going to hold on to 6th. Yes, he does, from Chilton, Jones, Stephen Jelly in the points this time, and Rob Collard. Well, congratulations to Matt Jackson, the 4th win of his career, and just when he needed it after such a tough time in the first 2 races of the day. Matt Jackson takes victory, but a fantastic 2nd place for Stephen Kane, the 28-year-old from Northern Ireland, driving for the Motorbase team, the Rutham in Kent-based team that have worked so hard in British touring cars over the last couple of seasons. Many congratulations to them. They fully deserve that podium. But sitting there in 3rd and racking up the points, once again, it's that Italian, Fabrizio Giovanardi.
Yeah, his weekend started off terribly with a lot of unreliability and problems, but it's come good for him. The team, VX Racing, they've really delivered on the day today, and what could have been such a strong weekend for Sayat has really been marred by the non-finishes in the last race. But the championship will still go on, and I'll guarantee it'll go down to the wire.
Picking up lots of dirt and muck on his tyres on purpose there, Matt Jackson. He doesn't want to fail the ride height test, clearly.
Yeah, it does 2 things, actually. It picks up a lot of rubber on the tyres, which raises the ride height.
Yeah.
And also increases the weight.
Good stuff. Right, well, thank you, Tim. Matt Jackson, race winner from Stephen Kane in 2nd place, and motivates his 1st ever podium. Giovanardi 3rd, Matt Neal 4th, and Onzo Cole 5th. Look at that. VX Racing getting a great result. Team RAC had their man in 6th, Colin Turkington. 7th for Tom Chilton, and Jones in 8th place ahead of Stephen Jelly, with Rob Collard in 10th place in the other Motorbase car. And then just outside the points, John George, good result for him though, ahead of Michael Doyle, again the youngster doing brilliantly well. Jason Hughes 13th, Erkut and Martin Bell 14th and 15th. Harry Volkart had that problem, as we saw Darren Turner and Jason Plato in big trouble, and Gordon Shedden and Andrew Jordan, I'm afraid, also out of the race. So that's how they finished in race 3. There's Matt Jackson's car going through the regulatory checks, the ride height, the weight, and that all has to be sorted out. And, well, he won't mind sitting around there before we get a chat with him. But a great result then for Matt Jackson, also for Stephen Kane, but it's that man Giovanardi who keeps scoring the points.
Yes, thank you very much, Ben, and thank you to Tim as well. And that sums it up from Sayat's point of view. They were going for the hat-trick, but a bad start and a misfire meant Jason Plato ended up being black flagged, of all things, while Matt Jackson came through to win. More reaction after the break. It's Matt Jackson's 2nd win of the season and his 4th of his career. It all came from a great start in that rear-wheel drive BMW, and it means that Matt Jackson is the winner of the 3rd race of the day here at Snetterton. Let's take a look at the drivers' standings then in the championship. Fabrizio Giovanardi still leads, just as he has done for so many races. Matt Jackson now is moving up to 4th very solidly, but Matt Neal, that's the significant move, overtakes Jason Plato back into 2nd place, so it's a 1-2 for Vauxhall VX Racing, and 34 points now the margin that Giovanardi has over his teammate. And more points then for VX Racing in the team standings. 350 now against Sayat Sport UK, still on 2-1-2 after neither car finished that race. What a disappointment for them. Okay, Janie is down in the pits with the top 3. Janie, who have you got?
I've got Matt Jackson for you here. Obviously, he got his win at Rockingham. You were oh so close at Croft, and now you've done it again. This is what it's all about.
Absolutely, yeah. We've had a tough time. We've been in the barriers at about 110 mile an hour. So, you know, for everybody in the team, it's you know, it's great. You know, to start the weekend on such a low, to end it on such a high. It's you know, all the guys in the team have done a fantastic job.
Let's go through the start, because that's where it all matters, isn't it? You've got to get a good start and stay out the front, especially when you've got people hot on your tail.
Sure, yeah. It's, you know, the start is so key, and we didn't actually get that good a one. Stephen got a bit of a better one. And he looked down the inside at this point and thought, oh, you're not going to have it that easy, it's so early. We're on the marbles and the car was a bit sideways. I thought, right, he's going to set it up into Sia, but we managed to hold it, and I think really that was the key to the race. It's, you know, the cars are so close out there, and you know, the key is the start for sure, especially with the, you know, the BMW rear-wheel drive. It's fantastic.
We've just got Stephen Kane just sliding in beside you here. We're going to talk to him in a second. How much pressure was he putting you under?
For sure, yeah, no, he was there. He made very few mistakes. I think I was making a lot more mistakes than what Stephen was, and yeah, you know, he put the pressure on. There was no way we could sort of ease off. At one point, I thought, yeah, we're pulling a nice gap here, and all of a sudden he found full throttle. And
we saw you make a little mistake at the last lap as well.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's you know, obviously it's so everybody's so on the limit out there. It's you know, the pace of the motor-based car this weekend's been awesome, and I think they're going to be a bit of a danger, unfortunately, for the rest of the season.
Okay, well, let's move on. Well done, congratulations. Let's move on and have a chat to the motor-based team. Stephen Kane. Podium for you, man. This is the best result for the team, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's what we've been working for all year. You know, we started off the year very well. A few rounds we struggled a little bit, but you know, we've worked over the last couple of rounds very hard as a team, and I'm glad to bring it home in second for Dave.
Talk us through the race. How was it for you? We've just heard from Matt Jackson saying the amount of pressure that you were putting him under. What about for you?
The race, you know, the car was excellent to start off with. You know, I got off the line, made a good start, had a bit of pressure from Gordon, and after a few laps I started to get into the rhythm. Then I started to push, and I was catching Matt, you know, pretty easily. But obviously Fabrizio was behind me, and I didn't want to lose the second place, so I just sort of conceded, and I didn't want to start fighting and going backwards, so I just sat there. And then when I realised that Fabrizio wasn't he didn't have the pace at the end of the race the last couple of laps, so I ended up pushing again, and I was quite close to Matt, so I think there could have been a win there, but at the end of the day, a podium at this point in the championship is quite good.
Well, we already know that you're intended to continue this performance through the rest of the season. The break that you've just had, how important was that in terms of you finding the correct setup for your cars?
The team as a whole has worked very hard, you know, technically in the cars. We've looked at everything from the start of the season, and we have changed a lot in the car, and it's worked, you know, and this is, you know, everyone can start, you know, the ball can start rolling and we can start getting results, and, you know, because now we're starting to understand the car and it's starting to make sense, and when you have a good car then you start to drive it better, and then the whole thing starts to snowball, so, you know, the rest of the year is looking quite good.
Talk us through this. We got some footage of you getting out of the car, the celebrations. You went absolutely nuts.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, all the boys have been working so hard, and it's been a hard year, you know, getting the money together to do it, and sponsors, and Dave's put a lot of faith in me, and it's just great. It's all down to this.
Oh, you know what? I've got to tell the guys at home, you had tears in your eyes, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. This has been a long campaign for me. I mean, obviously Stephen and Rob joined us this year with the BMW for 2008, but we started last year with the Sia. We had a very, very hard year as a team last year, a lot of damage, a lot of problems. And it's just been really, really good to work with the car we've got this year, which is the BMW, which is a fantastic bit of kit, and with Stephen and Rob. And, you know, today for me was just a vindication of all the hard work we've put in as a team. My lads have put in, which I'd like to thank everyone on my team and the people behind the scenes, and they know who they are. And obviously Stephen and Rob. It's been a fantastic day for us as a team.
Well, congratulations to both of you. It's lovely to see you guys on the podium. And, of course, we've got another guy on the podium as well. Handshakes all round, Fabrizio. Talk us through that race. Again, was it something that you enjoyed a little more from the first time out, a bit more involved?
Yeah, that was, I think, in the end, because the problem was the perfect day, because he didn't gain on me a lot of points, but I tried until the end to catch the two BMW, but no way, really no way. They was pretty faster than me. They didn't make any mistakes, so it's okay. In the end of the day, 2 podium, score points. Okay, 1 victory could be better.
You're looking at in terms of the championship as a whole and damage limitation.
Yes, because if I can have more points to manage, I can try to push more harder on the car and try to win more races. At the moment I have a lot of points, not enough to be sure. But anyway, I think it's perfect. Today was perfect for my car, for my team, everything.
Okay, good luck for Alton Park. Back to you, Ted.
Thanks very much, Janie, and joined here by our co-commentator, Tim Harvey. First of all, congratulations on winning your 2 Porsche races. Nice one.
It was nothing. Maybe I'll get a touring car drive again.
Well,
you never know.
You never know. What about Giovanardi, though? Massive save for them.
They came here expecting to damage limitation. They knew the Seats were going to win. Giovanardi's ended up driving brilliantly the second and third races and going away with a healthy points lead.
What is going on with Seat? They win and then they just throw it all away. I mean, it would have been difficult for him to get the final win, Plato, but another problem.
Well, I mean, you have to score points. You know, this is when championships are made, when the chips are down. And Seat have had a little habit. At Croft, we have brake problems. The car is complicated mechanically, more complicated than a conventional car. So obviously an issue has affected both of the cars in the final race. But, you know, they got to keep finishing races. Otherwise, VX are going to run away with it.
Why would both cars develop a similar misfire like that?
I think there's someone sitting in some pins in an effigy somewhere, because it's a bit voodoo, isn't it? I mean, I can't explain it. I can't think of it happening before unless it was a dodgy fuel sample or something like that. Very strange.
Okay, quick word on Stephen Kane, though. Good stuff for a small team.
Fantastic. I mean, Motorbase put their heart and soul into motor racing. They're what racing is all about. Guys really investing heavily in time and effort. A character building year last year for them with Toledo's. Now they're on the podium. You can see how much it means to them.
Yeah, okay, good stuff. Tim, thank you very much.